What's up guys, Celestia here again, bringing you another Game Pass update video. This time it is December, and for all you Game Pass lovers out there, there's a bunch of crazy games they've added, to which I wholly recommend a few of them, because I've played a couple of them, and all the other ones look amazing as well, so let's get into it. So I don't know why I'm going to that, that's not where Game Pass is. Here we go. So we do have some that are leaving soon, which I usually discuss. There was some that left at the end of November, which I didn't manage to do an update for. But basically, they weren't that good anyway, the ones that were leaving. And these ones, Chained Echoes is a very, very good sort of like old school JRPG type game. Kind of similar to Secret of Mana and stuff like that, I'd say. Like, look at the art style, it looks beautiful. And then we have Rubber Bandits, which is one that's quite an easy 100%. I think I mentioned that in a couple of my last ones. So if you haven't done this, make sure this is done before it leaves. It doesn't take long. And if you have a friend or another controller, it's pretty easy to do. Potion Craft, I don't think I've done this. No, I don't think I've ever played this game, but it looks interesting. I don't know if it's a fast completion, but have a little look at it, or maybe just check how long to beat. That's what I usually do if I'm looking for quicker games for achievements. Just check how long to beat this game, and then see what the 100% is, and see if it's up your alley. So, now we move into the more interesting stuff, which is recently added, and by God, some of these games. So SteamWorld Build, I've actually played SteamWorld before. It used to be a kind of dungeon scrolling thing, but this is basically a city builder in the same vein as SteamWorld, and it looks awesome. Like, I actually might have to dive into this. I know these games usually aren't quick, but like it looks fun. And then we've got Spirit of the North. This is supposed to be a beautiful game, and as you can see, it is very beautiful. It is quite an old game from what I know of. It came out years ago, but the enhanced edition is the one that's for these consoles, so hopefully it looks a little bit better and plays better. But amazing sort of platforming adventure game. And then we have these two, which are Remnant 2 and Remnant from the Ashes. I have only played Remnant from the Ashes, and that was a really fun game. It's difficult, it's like Dark Souls, if you've never played these Remnant games. Remnant 2 is apparently way better than Remnant 1, but I would suggest starting with Remnant just to see if you like the sort of mechanics of it. If you're not 100% a fan of the mechanics, maybe move to 2 and just see if that's improved a lot, because I know they improved a lot on everything in that game. So basically, it's like Dark Souls with guns, essentially. So, big bosses, you can actually do multiplayer. I think it's 3 or 4 person multiplayer. So if you have a group of friends, then you can run through this game pretty easily and have some fun doing it. And yeah, basically Dark Souls with guns, that's really all you can say about it. Then the updated Killer Instinct, so the Anniversary Edition, is now on Game Pass too, which is just, I think it's all the extra characters, and they've updated things with it, so new mechanics for certain characters and stuff like that. I'm a fighting game person, so I had a look into it, but Killer Instinct's never really been my game. Rollerdrome, it's a third-person action shooter, apparently, which is you're skating about as well, which looks pretty interesting. From what I've heard, it does actually have an invincibility mode and infinite ammo mode, so I don't know if that affects the achievements, but if it doesn't, then you've got a pretty fun, just random shooting game that you can have a go of. Dune Spice Wars, I think this is another RTS? Yeah, so this is a real-time strategy game. So if you're into that kind of thing, have a look at that. Persona 5 Tactics, I think that is basically the same. It's like, for all those people that played Mario and Rabbids, you've got that, or you've got XCOM. Basically the same thing. You've got cover and you can like fire against people and things like that. So there's that. Coral Island, basically Stardew Valley on an island, I assume, which looks kind of cool. But I usually like these games, but I'm not someone who plays them a lot. So if you're into that sort of thing, maybe go for it. But you'll probably be playing it for a while because they're very long games. Spirit, is it Spirity? Yeah, Spirity. This is a very strange looking game. It's not a super long game, but it's not like super quick either. When I first looked at how long to beat this, I'm pretty sure it said like 10 hours or something like that, or maybe a little bit more. But yeah, it's a very odd looking game, but you know the interesting games, they usually, like, they look a bit odd. And then we've got Like a Dragon Gaiden, The Man Who Erased His Name, which is another one in the Yakuza series. So you had Yakuza 0, and then you had the Kiwami ones, and you had like 6, and I think 7 was Like a Dragon. And then you had a couple other ones which were like spin-offs. I'm not sure if this is a spin-off one because I don't really follow Yakuza, but this looks sick. So if you like the Yakuza games, you've probably already played this. But you've got Dungeons 4, which is another sort of dungeon scrolly one. Yeah, so you got this dungeon scrolly one, so if you're into that sort of thing, go for that as well. Then we have Football Manager. I'm not going to touch that because I don't like football games. If you like football games, go for it. I know it's not like FIFA or that, but it's basically you manage stats and things. Then we've got Thirsty Suitors. This game actually looks really fun. I'm not sure if I'm going to play it right now because I've got a lot of games on the go. But if you guys want to play it, it's very, very different. I've heard it does like, yeah, from what it says there, skating, skateboarding, cooking, and then like other random stuff. Who is it made by? Outer Loop Games. I've never heard of them. But you got Annapurna. I'm pretty sure they did. What did they do again? Did they do Tenbu or Tenba? And then like other games. Annapurna is usually the ones that do like the sort of emotional games, from what I remember. War Tales. I think my friend mentioned this. Yeah, another RTS style game. Then you got Headbangers Rhythm Royale, which is basically Fall Guys with rhythm. From what I've seen, it's basically you're a bunch of pigeons and you have to do all these little mini games and like win out of a lot of other people. Then Jusant, I still haven't played this yet, but I've seen that it looks really good and it's supposed to be a very good sort of puzzle action game. And then Miniko's Night Market. I haven't seen what this one actually is. Looks interesting though. I like this sort of art style. It's similar to, oh, what was it called? That little French game that I did a guide on a while ago. But yeah, the art style looks pretty cool. And then we've got these ones. This is the multiplayer game, From Space. Frog Detective, another quite short, kind of just play through with a guide and complete it sort of game, unless you just want to experience it for yourself. F1 Manager, then we've got Like a Dragon Ishin, which is another part of the Yakuza, either spin-offs or series. Really need to get into those games, but I know they're huge, and I've already got so many games on the go at the moment. From Space, it's actually a multiplayer style game. Like you can team up with people and actually go through this, which looks really fun because my friend said that we should play it, and it actually looks pretty funny. Like little dungeons with guns and stuff like that. Yeah. If you have any friends or if you want to play it yourself, go for it. Forza Motorsport, kind of standard as it says, is a standard just driving game. Dark Tide, this is the first person one, yeah. Similar to Vermintide and all that, but with Warhammer, essentially. And then you've got RoboQuest, which I haven't seen yet, which looks kind of comic book styly, and is a first-person shooter. So I wonder if that's actually short as well. Playable in solo or 2 people co-op. Not bad. But basically, if you have any ideas for any of these games for guides, guys, let me know. Obviously, we have a lot on Game Pass already, so if you are wanting a guide for any of these games, let me know. I know a lot of people have already done guides for certain games, but I'm unsure of what to make a guide for next, because a lot of these games that have came out, these aren't like quick completions. But if you want me to do a guide for any of them, for like certain achievements, or I don't know, just like a general guide. I know some of them can be maybe like 7 or 10 hours, but I could cut it down a bit. But if you're looking for any of those sort of guides, let me know. And if you're looking for any guides on any of the Game Pass games that are already on here, because we know how fickle Game Pass can be, we might see some of these games go up on the leaving soon part of it. And yeah, if you don't want to see these games go without having a guide done by me, let me know. But I will let you guys know the ones that I've done guides for already, which are anytime now. I've done a guide for Among Us, The Bunker. I might actually do a guide for the collection and Rebirth, depending on how long that is. I have done one for, I would have done one for Ark, but that's basically just using cheat codes. I have done one for Bramble. That was one of my highest viewed ones because it was actually one of the first ones out because I got the game beforehand. Broforce Forever, you can use basically like cheat codes to work through Broforce. Blaze Blue, did a guide on that as well. And then I did a guide on, I might actually do a guide on Celeste, but I know that's a long one. I did a guide on, what are the other ones? I'm probably going to miss a guide. I did a guide on Dordogne. I did a guide on Grounded, but I can't do that anymore because my save doesn't work, so I can't share it, which is unfortunate. I've had people come into my Discord and still ask for it, and I'm like, I literally do not have the save. I've done a guide for Guilty Gear as well. That was actually quite easy to complete. I have done a guide for Limbo. I've done a guide for basically all 3 of those versions because they're all exactly the same. So I completed that on PC, Xbox, and Xbox 360. And then I did a guide for, I'm probably missing some of the ones I've done a guide for. But basically, if you have a look at my channel, you'll see the ones that I've done a guide for. And if you like the look of the guide, or if you enjoy it and it helps, let me know about that. And then let me know if there's any other guides you want me to make. So I haven't done Monkey Island, which I would have if I had been making guides beforehand. then I have done, I'm pretty sure that's all of them. I did a guide for the DLC for Vampire Survivors, and then I did a guide for Venba. But yeah, I've not been into the guide making game long. I have made guides like probably about 10 years ago in the past when I was younger, and I actually had more time to do them. But if you guys have an idea for like a specific guide, or if there's one that's giving you trouble, like for example, when I first started doing these guides again, someone mentioned Dark Grim Mariopolis because there wasn't like a good guide for that, and I made that guide, and it did fairly well, and a lot of people were helped by it, and there's still people being helped by like my Arkham City. Is it Arkham City? It's either Arkham City or Arkham Knight, but basically being helped by that guide because that's seems to be the best one out there. But yeah, if you have any ideas for guides, let me know. If you enjoy these videos, let me know as well, because I like doing these update videos every time Game Pass adds something new or is about to remove stuff. But if I don't make a guide before Christmas, you guys have a great Christmas, and I will see you in the next achievement video, guys. Bye bye.